So you last seen it on the 6th, then it was?
We last seen the cow on the 6th, yeah, that Friday. I didn't see her personally. The guy that feeds for me, that feeds during the week, he saw her. And he counts the cows every day, especially her because she had a calf. And he saw her Friday.
Okay, what's that guy's name?
Reuben.
Reuben?
Reuben Bachicha, yeah.
Okay.
And he saw her Friday, and like I said, Friday night we went to Santa Fe, and we got back from Santa Fe in the afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and it was about 3:30 that I went up and fed, and I didn't see her, and it was so windy, I was tired, and I just fed the cows, and I fed them by the barn, and she was one that I would notice because I used to feed her because she was up in age, and because she had a 3-month-old calf, I'd give her grain, and most of the time she'd follow the truck, and she would even follow the truck away from the herd because she knew she was going to get grain. And I didn't see her Saturday, but like I said, it was just windy and I was tired, and I said, well, maybe she's around. So Sunday when I went to go feed and she didn't show up, the baby showed up. I went looking for her thinking something might have happened because she was up in age, and she was about 28 years old. And the reason that she's usually you don't keep a cow that old, but she's calved every year, so we've just kept her all these years. And
So
went
she
looking
wasn't
for
pregnant at the time. She already.
she had calved about 3 months ago.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think she was again, but you never know. But I went looking for her up in the trees, in the pinon trees where they usually sleep at night, and I couldn't find her. But then when I looked over the edge of the hill down in the valley, I spotted her by the river, and just thinking that she died normally or naturally, I went looking down, and when I went to her, I looked at her, and she seemed normal for a minute. But then when I looked at her by her belly, I saw that the incision. So the minute I pulled up the leg, I noticed that the udders had been removed, and I just said to myself, "Here we go again," and because we've had that before happen, and I right away looked around the vaginal area, and again, that was cut out.
That was in 1995. You had the last one.
The last one was in '95.
Was the same incisions in the same
Same
spot?
thing, yeah. Same type of cut. The udders were removed. And around the vaginal area was removed also. The only difference on the one in '95, she had horns, and she was a white face. And that one, they pulled the shells completely off the horns. And if you guys have been around cows, you can't just pull that shell off.
Yeah.
And it takes even 4 or 5 months when a cow dies for the horns even to that shell to come off the horn.
Okay.
So I notified the sheriff's department, and they went up and they did a report. And I was hoping, we could try to get some tests and stuff like that with her. That's why I notified the local media.
Do you have the name of the officer that responded?
I have his name written down.
Okay.
Offhand, I don't know his name.
I don't know if they disclose any information, but
They might,
we'll definitely try to find an answer for you.
Okay. And then I know MUFON came Saturday. They took some soil samples.
Okay.
They took a couple of pieces of flesh around the incision to take, and they looked at her and just did their normal investigation. Then we had another lady yesterday that came down, and she took some soil samples. She didn't take any pieces of flesh or anything like that, like MUFON did. She said that the body was already starting to break down, and they might not be able to find anything. Linda Moulton.
Yeah, heard of her.
Yeah.
Okay. I know I get more questions. Got to think what they are.
Okay, that's fine.
Anything on top of your heads?
I don't know. Was it a place where the cattle normally go?
No, even if you look at it, you'll see. Once in a while, they might have walked down through there, but there's not that much activity. You'll see there's activity now because people have been walking.
So when they spotted her previously, she was down there by herself?
She was all by herself. The other cows were in the upper meadow.
They normally don't drink from the river then?
They do drink from the river, but they
Okay.
drink in different spots. And that spot, it's almost off of a bank.
Yeah,
And
I saw a picture of it.
yeah, and there's one cow dropping in the whole area, so they really aren't in that area too much.
Okay.
It's a real small little area.
Have they done a immediate search of the surrounding area, or just the vicinity where the cow's at?
I looked, and other people looked, but we didn't see anything.
Okay.
But she just, the only difference on this one, she's laid on her side, and the other one in 95, she was on her back with her legs up.
Wow.
Yeah, and I saw one after that, after the 95. It was probably in the late 90s, and it was just about 5 miles down the road. And this guy comes over that was taking care of some cattle. He said, "Hey, you had a weird thing happen to your cow." He says, "Come and see this cow." And when we went, the same thing. The udders had been removed, around the vaginal tract had been removed, and that one, the tongue also had been taken on that one, and she was on her back. And so this is the third one that I saw, personally up front.
So
two of mine.
They've been in different locations then?
Yeah, and this one's in the same field
Okay.
as the 95, just a different location.
How far away is it from
A
the
quarter mile maybe.
good distance?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But
How about your neighbors? Have they had it also? The mutilations? Any neighbors around here that are?
There's been some mutilations over in the Taurus Valley, just south of Stonewall.
Yeah.
The Tauruses, they've had some.
Tauruses have had it.
Yeah, Tauruses have had some, and then I've had that, and this Pete Montoya's, but Pete he didn't believe in it.
What do the people think it is? Their
They just-
consensus.
They just can't figure it out. I have another guy that I work with at school, and he's had some, or a friend of his had some, and
Really?
he that around the Ludlow area in the
Okay,
past,
okay.
and
Is that in 95? Because that's the one I think we spotted a cow out in the thing that was dead. So probably the one.
up here.
No, up Ludlow.
Ludlow, probably. It was around the 90s that
Yeah.
they used to. He said they used to have one almost every year in a pasture until he said that was next to a road, and they
Right.
finally started taking them out of that pasture, and then it stopped. So
How about horses?
horses. There was a guy about 2 miles up the road. He had one that the game warden told him it was just a predator, but they said no way because the genitals and the whole
Right.
penis was
And the
completely
incisions are so smooth and nice.
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the only horse that I
The only
heard of.
horse
Yeah,
that you.
but there has been a horse here.
Nobody's ever heard anything unusual or seen anything unusual?
No, that's I've seen in the day just like a silver balloon going and then just disappear. But
All your
you know,
sightings have
That's
been during the day then?
mine have been during the day. I've never seen anything at night.
Kind of a silver glow then?
Yeah, like
Okay.
round. Yeah. And actually, I seen one it'd be about 3 weeks ago, around by Cokedale. I was coming home about 4:15 in the evening, and I watched it and I kept looking. I said, "That's not an airplane," because I seen one before like that, and then it just disappeared.
They don't launch any weather balloons at you, do they?
I don't think so.
I know on the other side they don't really.
No,
Okay.
but at nighttime I've never seen anything. I know one of the guys at work. He said his wife works for XTO, one of the gas companies here, and last Sunday they were up in that area and they saw a real bright light.
Okay.
They said, they thought it was in Apache Canyon, and that's just south of almost where we're going to be. And actually, it was when they got their bearings together. It was close to the vicinity where the cow was.
This was in the daytime.
No, it was at night. Yeah, it was a real bright light. They said.
Have the dogs, any other animals, acted strangely?
Around there's some dogs that are there, but the biggest problem I have with them is they're always the one that chase the cows.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a couple of cows a couple of dogs. That the neighbors have, but there's some dogs right now that are or coyotes that are beating on it. But it stayed
Yeah.
by itself. Maybe after 4 or 5 days they started. Actually, last Wednesday when I went up, they had started biting the ear,
Then they
but no
started-
birds. They're and
birds, no
when there's
birds.
when there's a dead cow,
Yeah.
that's the first.
Yeah.
They're the first that are there,
Yeah.
and you'll find bird droppings everywhere on the hide, on the ground, on the rocks, and no birds. And there's a tree right over the area, and if the birds would be there, they'd be in the tree and everything. But the birds stay away, and the birds stayed away last time also.
Have they found any low amounts of radiation around the
They
area?
checked with the Geiger counter, and they didn't find anything. The only thing they checked for energy, and around the vaginal area, there was high levels of energy.
Okay.
Yeah.